This other thing I think is really interesting. So the adventure book. Let me tell you about this story. Have you heard? Do you know what this is? This product, the adventure book.
I have no idea what it is.
Ben, have you ever heard of this thing? Okay, all right. So you guys are also not on TikTok enough. This is like the number one ad on TikTok that I see. I don't know if I'm just in their market or they just run a shit ton of ads, but I've been seeing it for like a year. So basically, it's a book you buy, and it's like a high quality big book. And what it is like there's a bunch of, imagine like a scratch off, like a lottery. So there's a bunch of things a bunch of adventures that you could scratch off. So you open the book to a random adventure, you scratch it off, and it reveals a thing you're gonna go do. Like it might be like I don't know. I've never bought the book, so like bad example, but like you're gonna go into a store today and you give out 10 compliments to people in the store, or you're gonna go streaking around your neighborhood or whatever. Like an adventure, a thing you can go do, and so this idea and they pair with it like a camera. So you're supposed to take a Polaroid of you doing it, so it becomes a scrapbook. So on one side, it triggers you to go do something that you've never done or that's like get you out of your comfort zone. And then it gives you the ability to capture it and paste. You glue the photo in, and it becomes this memory book of all your adventures. Like cool, kind of novel idea. So I had seen this, and I was like, oh, that's a cute idea. That's a novel idea. What I didn't realize is this is $100 million business that was created in the last like 2 years. So how do I know this? Like for the podcast, I don't know if you get these emails, but I definitely do. There's a bunch of people that have like booking agents, and we get all these emails, which is like, hey, Shaan, love My First Million. Have you thought about having, Joe on? And you're like, it's like, oh, first they're complimenting me. So I like open it and I'm like, it's like, I don't want to be a member of any club that will have me, so it's like, that's how I feel about the guest thing. So normally I write all these off, but this one caught my eye, which was, they said, would you like to have Brian Ellis on? He is a high school dropout, now owns $100 million business called the Adventure Challenge. And I was like, it's like that adventure book thing. And so I replied, I go, $100 million? No way. That sounds high. And she goes, yeah, like it's been incredible. They've grown, blah, blah, blah. And I said, 100, I just to clarify, I'm like 100 million cumulative revenue, annual revenue. What are you saying here? And so she goes, yeah, like they'll do 85 million in revenue this year, and they have a few bigger partnerships, that distribution partnerships that will get them over 100, like in the next year. And so the business is valued over $100 million, with 85 million in revenue. And I was like, what the fuck? And so I go and I start researching this. And so here's the story. So this guy, Bryant, he's, so I couldn't confirm the high school dropout part. I don't know if that was just like some post-fact shit, like to make this sound better, but like, let's assume it's true. So high school dropout. I think his job was, he had some job, which was like, he was a skyscraper inspector. So he's like, some low man on the totem pole doing a job he didn't love. And he's like, all right, I'm just doing this for the money. He wanted to make a business. Like he's like, my whole life, I always have ideas. And I wanted to create a product. It's like, so I'm doing this job, and I had this idea to do this like adventure box. So his original idea was take a machine, create a box like a machine, and you push a button, and it's like, it like prints out a receipt. The receipt is like the adventure you're gonna go on. So you get like a random adventure that comes out. Cool idea, right? And so that was the original idea. And he's like, just tells a couple people about it. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And he's like, great, but he's just doing his job, and he hasn't really, figured out exactly how to do it or whatever. And he's like, okay, what he everything's like on hold until he gets fired from his job. He makes a mistake. They think he committed fraud. His boss is like, no, this is an honest mistake. But either way, he gets fired. He's like, all right, shit. What do I want to do? So he decides, I want to go to acting school. So he's like, I'm going to go to acting school, but I need to pay for life. So he's like, I need to create a side hustle that's going to make me $2,000 a month. That's my goal. And he's like, what about that adventure box challenge thing? And he's like, the idea over the course of a few months had like evolved. And he's like, all right, what if it was actually like a book that you could scratch off the adventure? And so he tells a couple people about it, and they're like, that's actually a really cool idea. You should do it. And so he goes to Hobby Lobby, and he buys some paper, some of the scratch off material. And he's like, he goes to a different store, he buys a camera, and he's like, starts coming up with this idea. And he basically spends 6 to 8 months prototyping this idea, because nobody had really done a like kind of like an adventure style scratch off book before. So he's like creating an actual physical product. And so he's like, he has this idea, and he just keeps telling people about it. And so he gets to the point where he's prototyped the idea several times. And there's videos I found online of like, he's creating a vlog while he's doing it. He's like, all right, it's 11 p.m. April 1st. I just got this really cool material for the scratch off. I really like this one, but I'm having trouble with the bindings, you know? And he's like, so maybe I'll try this other thing tomorrow. And then like he has the next video, you know, a week later, he's like, okay, I figured out the bindings part, and now I need to figure out this other thing. I love seeing the early stages of these ideas. So he creates a Kickstarter. He's like, I'm going to do a Kickstarter. It's going to be great. I want to raise $10,000 for this book. And Kickstarter goes live. He makes $1,300 the first day. And he's like, fuck yeah, I'm the man. He, you know, goes to a coffee shop. He's strutting in. He's like, I made $1,300 today. I don't know about you guys. I'll take, you know, your best, give me your finest coffee. And he's like, all right, we're already 13% of the way to the goal. Let's keep going. But day 2, $400. Day 3, $0. And like the Kickstarter like runs out of steam. And he's like, shit, I was kind of just banking on this going viral, and now it's not viral. So what now? And so he's like, all right, basically he's going to throw in the towel. He's like, for only $1,700, I can't even get the quality of book made that I want. Maybe I'll just quit. So he's like, I need to get a job to pay for life. You know, like I'm out of money. And so he's like, oh, maybe I'll contact my buddy. I don't forget his name, but Ben, my buddy Ben, to get a sales job. He has like this company I can do sales. So he calls him up. He gets a sales. He's like, I want to do a sales job. I want to do it for 1 year, and I'm just saving up money so I can go back out there and build a product. And the guy's like, all right, cool, that's fine. Like, you're upfront about it. Like, I'm down with that. Let's do it. So he gets a sales job there, and while he's there, he's telling people at work this idea. He can't shut up about the idea, and the guy there was like, you know, have you tried ads? He's like, oh, dude, nobody clicks ads. Like ads, like, or ads, like ads are scams, basically. Like that was his mentality at the time. And the guy's like, no, like that's how we grow our business. Like, you know, you should try. So he puts a little money into ads. He's like, I don't know if it worked or not, but like, you know, I got this like 10x ROAS. And the guy's like, what? Like, no way. And he's like, yeah, like people really like the ad or whatever. And so the guy, he partners with his buddy, the guy who hired him. And so I'm fast forwarding some parts of the story, but basically he ends up leaving. That guy partners with him. That guy's like, look, we're going to grow this thing through ads. And they basically run a shit ton of TikTok ads, Facebook ads, whatever. And they've grown this thing to now 85, if this is true, $85 million in sales. They've sold about 2 million copies of this book. It's like a $40 book, which is like, you know, something $70 million in sales if you do the math. And yeah, what an adventure. And now they have like a couples book. So you're like, 50 fun adventures to go on with your date. They have a family book. Here's some things to do with your family. A friend's book, and then a by yourself book. And yeah, it's kind of amazing.